Keith and Sherry, thanks so much for taking the time to meet with me today. I really appreciate seeing you guys again. Last time that you were here, we spoke a little bit about why is it that you want to visit with me and talk a little bit about what Bob and John have so much bragged about me. Don't believe them. Not everything that they say about me is true. But anyways, I know you mentioned that you guys feel that you haven't done the best job managing your finances, and taking that realization as the first step in order to move forward and work on the progress in developing a financial plan. That's exactly why we're here today, moving forward. With that being said, I wanted to take some time to define how the financial planning process works. The first step is explaining and setting the proper expectations for both myself as well as yourself, and what our roles are going to be played while we're filling this financial plan, because it's a process that goes both ways. With that being said, I really appreciate you getting the letter back to me signed. That way we can proceed. So once we have established the relationship and how we're going to move forward with this financial plan, the next step, which by the way you've done a phenomenal job of, is providing me with the necessary documentation, as well as talking about the goals that you have and the expectations that you have for your portfolio and your financial futures. Once you have provided that documentation, I go ahead and analyze that documents in order to seek some strength or weaknesses that I can find in your financial picture. The next step is what we're doing right now, is when we develop and communicate some of the recommendations that I found based on the information that you provided, that I have analyzed with my group and my team that assists me with the analytics part. And once we have that, we can go ahead and move forward by implementing the recommendations, the ones that you believe are going to be in your best interest based on your needs, your goals, and the objectives, obviously. And once we have implemented those recommendations, we go ahead and monitor. We don't want to be stagnant, because life changes. You might have another kid. One of you, hopefully it doesn't happen, might lose another job, or on the contrary, you guys might win the lottery, and then we're going to have to start all over with this again. Just kidding, guys. But moving forward, like I said, in this step, we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about your current situation. I wanted to really applaud you for certain things that I saw that are strengths in your financial plan. You currently have pretty good defined goals of what is that you were wanting to accomplish, not only with your kids, but as far as retirement, as well as your financial plan as a whole. You have very good stabilized goals. Also, your debt management skills have been very well. You have very low liabilities. That's something that the vast majority of Americans unfortunately never get to do. Another thing is that both your employments have actually shown promise of development and growth. Both of you actually expect your income to increase in the following year. So that's very good. Now, some of the things that I'm a little worried about, or a little bit of the weaknesses in the portfolio, is that you guys might not have adequate emergency funds, the classic rainy day funds. I don't believe that we're there yet for savings, particularly when it comes for retirement. For what you told me your goals are, we might need to focus on that. And there might be some gaps in your insurances that you currently have that we sure want to address, probably at a later date. And finally, I believe that we can work a little bit better on saving for your retirement. So we're going to touch on that a little bit today. And we're going to start. I know you guys said you only had 15 minutes today, so I appreciate you carving out that precious time of yours to sit down with me today. And I want to talk about one specific recommendation you guys mentioned to me that was very important for you, because college savings was something that I believe you mentioned wasn't something your parents could do for you. and you would really would like to take the opportunity to assist both Brentley, Bailey, as well as Bethany, the 3Bs, right? Anyways, the first step is that we want to make sure that you can do this through the 529 plans. Good news is that you very much well can. You guys asked me how much would you be able to contribute to a 529? Well, you can actually contribute up to 5 years one time. So what that actually means is that you can give up to the maximum of the gift tax, which is $14,000, as we had discussed previously. If we multiply 14,000 times 5, that's going to give us 70,000. Now it's 70,000 per person. So as a couple, you can gift up to 140,000 per child, or per. It doesn't have to be your child. You can fund this for your niece or your nephew, but in this case, we want to make sure we're talking about Bethany, Bailey, and Brentley. So moving forward, in order to calculate, you guys told me how much of a lump sum would be needed to invest today to tackle the issue of the funds or the college savings, pardon me. It's going to be a 3-step process. The first step is we want to calculate the future cost of the first year of college, taking into considerations the assumptions we have discussed. The second step, once we got that future cost, we're going to determine the total sum required. So it's also no present value of an annuity due. And finally, the third step is going to be the answer we're looking for, which is going to determine the required lump sum in today's dollars to fund that. So as you can see, we have a calculator right here, and I'm going to input Brentley's information for you. You have to assume that in today's dollars, 23,000 is going to be the cost in today's dollars. Now you believe college expenses are going to increase 4% per year, and Brentley is going to go to school in 8 years. So we need to know how much that's going to be once Brentley is 18, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Based on that, we know that in today's, if moving forward, today's dollars in the future would be $31,477.09. That is how much it would be with the inflation. You guys are thinking that the college costs are going to go up once Brentley becomes 18. Keeping in mind, we're considering that Brentley will go to school when he's 18, and he's going to go for school for 4 years. Once we do that, we need to know how much it's going to be the total, and we're going to have to get the real rate of return. You guys expect your returns to be 7%. At the same time, you expect college costs to grow by 4%. So once we divide the expectation of the returns of the portfolio divided by the growth or the cost increase, we get the real return. So it's 1.07. That's the return of your portfolio. We divide that by the cost inflation or the cost increase of college, which is 1.04. We subtract 1 just to get for math purposes. We multiply that by 100 and we get the real rate of return. In your case is 2.88. Now we also said that you guys expect your kids to go to college and finish college, hopefully we all do, in 4 years. So once we plot that, we know that the total cost for the 4 years would be $120,711.43 for Brentley. That's the total cost. Now, you did mention you wanted to do that in today's dollars. So what we do is we take that future value, bring it back to today, and the way we do that is once we have what we expect to be the cost total, $120,711.43. From that, we bring it back 8 years for Brentley, which is 10 years old today. So we plug that in and expecting a 7% return. And we sold for the present value. So today, the lump sum cost to have Brentley go to school, if we're going to get a 7% return, college costs are going to go up 4%, is going to be $70,255.15. Although it's over the $70,000 that one person can do in a 5-year period for the 529 contribution, like I said it before, if you guys as a married couple each decide that you want to give out $70,000, that adds up to $140,000. So there would be absolutely no issue funding college this way in a lump sum. This step we would need to repeat for Bailey as well as Bethany, but I went ahead and saved you the trouble. I just wanted to explain how the math worked. So the total cost for your 3 kids today, the lump sum needed for your 3 children to go to college once they become 18 for 4 years would be $187,158.06. Now I know I talked too fast, so I want to take a step back and ask you, what questions might you have at this time that I might not address, or that you need some clarification? That's a good point. I can see that. Okay, well, I'm glad we understand this. Let's go ahead and move forward with our next recommendation.